Hey, good night, I should say, or good evening. Good evening or good night, whichever one. Uh, but appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Uh, Kind of sad day today. Kind of sad day. Uh, Kind of hit me this morning when I woke up and I looked on my phone. Uh, Rest in peace, Quincy Jones. Wish I could have met him before he passed away. Wish I could have met him. Seemed like a fun, cool dude to be around. But even though, I never met him, his music touched a lot of people. His music touched a lot of people in this life, in this world, through his music. From a childhood, from being young. He talked about being in Chicago, being in a gang when he was real young. And, he went into this house, this place, and they had a piano there. And once he touched that piano, he was never the same. And that's when the genius of Quincy Jones came to life when he was young. He talks about that. He talks about being inspired that night. The melody, the colors that came out of that keyboard that time that he went into that place in Chicago. And if you haven't seen the documentary Quincy, and you're a music producer, artist, you're just inspired by music. I encourage you to watch that documentary. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times. Quincy. So if you're in here, leave a comment with, what music, that really touched you, from the production of Quincy Jones. It was one part in Quincy, the documentary, when he went to the museum, the African American Music Museum, and he saw all these people that he worked with throughout his career. He went through there. Of course, he couldn't walk that good. He just suffered a stroke in the documentary. And he went through the African American Music Museum, and he saw all these people in this museum. And he worked with most of them. He worked with a lot of them, throughout his life. He had an incredible music life, doing what he loved, composing. But going back to the story, he was in the museum, and he really, was heartbroken because a lot of people that was in that museum, they had passed away. Throughout his lifetime. Shout out to my mom. Yes, true. We've truly lost a musical genius in Quincy Jones. Yeah. And so, yeah, in the documentary, he talks about when he met Ray Charles. Ray Charles was really a huge influence in his life. He was really a huge influence in his life. I was going to play a lot of clips, but I think I just want to talk to you all about, the life of Quincy Jones. Since I've, I really studied and researched Quincy Jones. When I was in college, I did a paper on Quincy Jones. How he started off his career as a trumpet player in the Lionel Hampton band, and he really learned a lot of skills. He really was passionate about, his career. And if you haven't heard the story before you came on live, if you just joining in, he was young, out in the streets in Chicago, young boy. And, they broke into this place and they had a piano in there, and he touched that piano and he was never the same. He really absorbed himself into music. And it's something about, the spirit of Quincy Jones, his spirit that really inspires you. If you're into anything, not just music, but if you're into anything, your passion, that, you have to go all in. And, that's what he did. he lost a lot of people throughout his career. You know, if you see the documentary, he was married 3 times. Not saying, you know, that will happen to you, you know, if you're going to music. But, you know, he dedicated a lot of time. He dedicated a lot of time to his craft, you know, going from, you know, doing music for all types of TV shows and then producing TV shows like Fresh Prince. You know, Will Smith wouldn't be who he is if it wasn't for Quincy Jones. You know, Oprah wouldn't be who she was, you know, as an actor, as a you know, just an incredible speaker, credible, just all around. You know, if it wasn't for Quincy Jones, you know, starring her in that role in Color Purple. And she did an amazing job as Sophia in that movie. You know, if you haven't seen Color Purple, that's a, you know, I think that year, as far as the Oscar, I think they were, you know, they stole that Oscar from them for the Color Purple, because that was an amazing movie. Even though I like the second one that just came out not too long ago, like a year ago. I like the first one. I like the first one with Whoopi Goldberg. Oprah, Danny Glover. You know, I like that one. I love the dramatics, you know, of the first one. But you know, going back to, you know, the artistry and the compositions of Quincy Jones. You know, he did a lot of things where, you know, a lot of people doubted him. You know, throughout his career. You know, he met a young man by the name of Michael Jackson on the Wiz. You know, Michael was looking for a producer. You know, he just left the Jacksons. The Jacksons left Motown, and then they went to Epic Records. And then Epic, you know, he had a solo deal with Epic, and he was looking for a producer for his album. And, you know, Quincy Jones, you know, he was on the set. He was telling Michael, you know, I'm busy with this recording. And, you know, all of a sudden Quincy noticed his work ethic, Michael Jackson's work ethic, and he started to see, like, he knows everybody's lines. He remembers all the lyrics to the songs, not even just his. And so, you know, Quincy grown to love Michael. And, you know, and then Quincy, you know, obviously later on, you know, he went to Michael Jackson and said, I'll produce your album, you know, Off the Wall. And it became a success. And if you're in here, let me know what song that you love that Quincy Jones produced. You know, there's so many songs throughout my lifetime that I've heard produced by Quincy Jones that really was, you know, incredible career. You know, he did music to Italian Job, In the Heat of the Night, Sanford and Son, so many, E.T. You know, he was real close to Steven Spielberg. Just so many incredible, and shout out to my dad. He's in here in the building, Pastor JG. Just so many things throughout his career that really touched a lot of people throughout his career. And, you know, if you're in here, let me know what songs. I love the album, The Dude, you know, great, you know, composition. We Are the World, you know, We Are the World was a great composition as well. You know, if you haven't heard We Are the World, a full song, you know, so many artists, you know, in the United States really, you know, put it together. But going back to Off the Wall, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. You know, he said the story about when he was creating that, you know, him and Michael, and the first part, you know, all the string stuff, Michael wanted to take it out. And Quincy said, that's the big part of the song. We're not taking that out. And so, you know, they didn't take that part of the song out. and that became the biggest part of the song. And so it's just incredible how, you know, that came about, And so, again, appreciate y'all for watching. Yeah, you know, they didn't take that part out. And so I want to get into, I'm going to get into some cuts. On this video, on this show. You know, he's talking about the things he learned from his career, And so again, appreciate y'all for watching.
Number one is to know who you are and learning to love who you are. Because you can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. Ray and Charles and I used to say every day in Seattle, not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me. Every day. That was the deal with racism and everything, because you don't want an external force defining who the hell you are.
Where have you gone to improve your arranging skills as an arranger?
Work. Work and study, man. Work and study. You know, and I did that, but I did that a long time ago. I put 28 years on my core skill. And orchestration, counterpoint, everything. Because you got, you know, music is always left and right brain. Intellect and emotion. And you've got to work to keep the science going. You don't work to keep the science going, you can't support.
And going back to that first one, love who you are. You know, you gotta love who you are first. You know, when you create music. You know, a lot of people will say, you know, you should do this and that as far as music is concerned. But you have to love who you are. You know, realize your gifts. You know, in music. And so, yeah, that's a great one.
The emotion. A million guys come and tell me, man, if I could play piano, I could be better than Herbie Hancock. I say, yeah, but you ain't gonna be better than Herbie Hancock because you haven't worked, you know. But you have to work. It's work, man. They say that the dictionary is the only place you see success before work, and that's alphabetical.
In school, we were exposed to march music and kind of classical music and semi-classical music, and to make a living, you had to play schottisches and all those things and so forth. So there was always the full range of music around. And I remember once Ray Charles said to me, we were trying to put a bebop feeling into schottisches one time, and he said, no. He said, you just put your soul into the music you're playing, and let it be a schottisch, and it'll be okay. And I'll never forgot that.
And you know, to stop this video right at this moment, going back to Michael, you know, the relationship between Michael and Quincy, when they got into Off the Wall, a lot of people say Quincy's not a real producer because he wasn't hands-on, you know, with the music like a lot of other producers. But he, you know, if it wasn't for Quincy, it wouldn't be the sound of these albums. You know, he got Rod Temperton, he got Steve Porcaro, you know, Human Nature. You know, if it wasn't for Quincy, you know, Human Nature wouldn't even be on, you know, the Thriller album. So yeah, so many movie scores, TV music, wrote for too many artists to count. Yeah, he put in the work. Yeah, he put in that work. Yeah, and that's one of the things he said. You know, you got to study, you know. Yep.
Jones was stranded in Europe. He realized the importance of being a good businessman as well as being a good musician. He had to really look at every aspect of the business to try to get home. This is my responsibility. I got him over here. I'm gonna get him back.
I was ready to threw myself in. I just couldn't handle the pressure anymore because it was performing and on the payrolls, trying to book and everything else. And it was just, I think when people to think about taking their own life, it's not about, it's just about 15 minutes apiece. You know, you get some rest for a while. It's amazing how it works because.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, don't give up. I know it was certain times in my, you know, my time in doing music and producing, sometimes people treated me a certain way. As far as music, people try to take advantage of you. As far as music is concerned, and you learn from Quincy. Don't give up if you really love music and you passionate about music. Don't give up. And like my mom said, so many movie scores, TV music, wrote for too many artists to count. He put in that work, and that was a challenge for Quincy. When he worked with Michael, a lot of people said he was too jazzy. They said he was too jazzy. He worked for Frank Sinatra, movie scores, jazz bands like Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Ray Charles. He did music for Ray Charles as well. And, a lot of people say he was too jazzy, and he said, I'm going to prove y'all wrong. And when he went to Thriller, he told Michael, he said, this is going to change the sound. And they had it on recording too. He said, we're going to change the sound of music. And, they did. They changed the sound of music.
A whole series of mistakes at one point. People started to call it experience. Boy, he's very experienced in that. That means you had a chance.
And if you're tuning in, let me know what songs that you, the songs that you love that Quincy Jones produced. There's so many great songs. I love Tomorrow, with Tevin Campbell, off of the Back on the Block album. I love that song. Just so many songs. So let me know if you're on Facebook or YouTube. Let me know what songs that you love by Quincy Jones that he produced.
To mess up a lot, and that's great, because if you don't take any chances, you're not going to make any mistakes. My father said to us every day of our lives, once the task has just begun, never leave it till it's done. Be the labor, great or small, do it well or not at all. Every day of our lives, he said that. And he would never let us half step. That I learned from him, and I treasured that, because he...
Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Oftentimes on the documentary, he talks about his father. His father died when Quincy was young, but he learned a lot from his father. If y'all see the documentary,
doing anything halfway.
What advice do you have for the future of making great records?
Know what you're doing. Study everything. Study music. Because I'm hearing some funny stuff now that drives me crazy. I'll talk to some of the producers today. We were doing an amazing project in Rabat, Morocco last year. We had all of the number one.
And that's the thing before he goes in his speech about this. Quincy travel all around the world. He learned different styles of composition, composing music. He went to, I believe I saw a documentary, he went to France for like a year to a few years to learn a certain type of composing. And so he really dove into music. And it's just something about this day, that's really inspiring to me to really, every song that I do, every song I do from now, just really give it your all, dive into it, study, be versatile as far as your music is concerned. It's no limits. It's no limits to this thing called music. And so, again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you have any comments, feel free to come in and leave a comment if you have a comment.
Singers in the Arab Spring, Libya, Egypt, Jordan, Aleppo, Damascus, everywhere. And we're recording over there, and I'm calling no names over there. And I said, do you read music? He said, yeah, I used to, but I forgot. Give me a break, man. You don't forget how to read music. But man, you have to understand and put the work in to learn the science, man. You do. You can't play a trumpet if you don't know how to, you have to, it's a science.
And that's true, when you create music or you're an artist, if you're an instrumental artist or a vocal artist, you know, people love you because of your sound. You know, I did a video about Kenny G. You know, people love Kenny G because of his sound. You know, what sound he brings out of that saxophone. And you know, you have to know your unique sound. You know, when it comes to music, you know, it's crazy. You know, me producing music. You know, a lot of people hear my music and they were like, "Oh, that sounds like your style." You know, because I try to be, you know, real with my music. You know, what comes out of me, it comes out of me. Certain chords that I love, I go to because that's just me. You know, it reflects, uh, you know, my characteristics. It reflects my style. You know, and so, you know, you learn a lot. You know, you learn a lot from, you know, I've learned a lot from, you know, Quincy just talking about, you know, his views, his philosophies on music. And so, yeah, it's incredible.
It's the armatures, the diaphragmatic breathing. There's a lot of secrets with everything you attempt to do. You know, retrograde, inversion, and counterpoint. It's been, as I say, there's only 12 notes, man. So you can.
Shout out to Authentic Talk podcast. Appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate you for tuning in. And if you still in here, let me know you still in here. Thank y'all for watching. Just doing a show, you know, remembering Quincy Jones, because I know he had a huge impact on a lot of us as music creators. And so let me know you still in here. If you're still in here, let me know you still in the building. And also, if you want to support this channel, Super Chat is also available. And also, I got my Cash App, $JGillsVA, scroll across the screen. And so, you know, if you're in here, please support. Appreciate y'all for watching.
Figure out what you have to do to get your own sound. You have to do that through rhythm, melody, and
Yes, yeah. We Are the World, Thriller, Roots movie. Oh yeah, I forgot about Roots. Yeah. I love the music to Roots. Oh yeah. Just Once, James Ingram. Yeah. Just Once. Beautiful song. Beautiful song. And rest in peace, James Ingram too. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. And going back to the Sanford and Son theme, Liberian Girl, Michael Jackson, The Wiz, so many songs. I think Liberian Girl was ahead of its time. Liberian Girl, yeah.
harmony. And you have to do a lot of research to figure that out. You know, you have to know what's going on. You have to understand, I don't know, Ravel and Alpenberg and Basie and Duke and Bo Diddley and Melly Mel and Ludacris and Drake and all of them. Come on, man. You know, it's
And the thing about geniuses like Quincy Jones, you know, they stay relevant on the newest trends. They stay relevant on the newest music. You know, they never stop researching what's the trend, what's evoking people's emotions at that particular time. You know, they said about Quincy, he was too jazzy at the moment. You know, he was working on Michael Jackson, but he studied the music of that time. I believe Off the Wall was one of the greatest disco albums, or the last or the last disco album of that era. You know, I think 1979, Off the Wall. And, you know, shout out to also Rod Temperton, rest in peace. Amazing composer, amazing songwriter. You know, just hearing the stories of Rod Temperton writing Thriller, as he was driving to the music studio. You know, he was writing all of the Vincent Price talking parts. You know, he wrote all of that as he was driving to the studio, and just all these things coming together, all these composers, all these musicians, Greg Fillinganes on keyboards, just so many great musicians was a part of these albums. You know, Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad. Shout out to what's Bruce Swedien, engineer. He engineered all those albums, Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad. Just a great team. He had a dream team around him, but Quincy Jones was the glue to all those people. That made those albums tremendous success. So yeah.
It's doing your homework, man. That's all I can say. Prepare yourself, because my thing was my biggest fear, and I don't play with that word at all.
And as we watching this, let me know your favorite song off of Off the Wall album, Michael Jackson Off the Wall. If you're in here, you got Rock With You, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, She's Out of My Life, Off the Wall, Get on the Floor, I believe, Girlfriend, I Can't Help It. The list goes on that album. And let me know what album you like better, Thriller or Off the Wall. Let me know.
Was to get a great opportunity that I'm not prepared for. So when Frank Sinatra called me, man, I was ready for him.
But I'll just ask the first question. What's your favorite song off the Wall? Let me know what y'all think.
I'm telling you. And he tests me. Ray Charles too, because those guys are rough, man. Billy Eckstine, Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, they will kick your booty, And he'd say to me, we'd do an arrangement at Capitol Studios, he'd say, Q, that first 8 was a little dense. I said, no problem, man. And I put all the trumpets and the harmony mutes, pull the stems out, transfer the saxophones to the alto flutes.
And the thing with him, David Foster, all these great composers, they just can write, like it ain't nothing. They just sit down with a piece of paper and they can hear the music in their head. They can hear the notes in their head. I wish I can get to that point where I can just sit there and just compose music without no strings. I have arranged and composed music in high school, but I used Finale Notepad. I knew what notes I wanted, but I had to use, a visual thing. And I had to hear the composition as I was doing it. But with Quincy, they could just write it down and compose it. And that's an incredible gift. Omar said, Rock With You. Yeah, that's actually my favorite Michael Jackson song of all time, Rock With You. Yeah.
Stuff like, let's go. He was testing me. He only did it 3 times. And after that, he said he knows what he's doing. And because I was ready for it. And that's the biggest compliment, man, and accomplishments you can have in your life, is to say, I got my stuff together. I got my together. You have to have it together, man. You do.
Let me ask you about creativity then, and the diversity that is Quincy Jones, because I'm a kid.
Then going back to that last thing he said, always be prepared. And I talked about that in my video when I said, the struggle of being a perfectionist and a musician. I think preparation will help you with that. That type of determination of being prepared for a moment is really true. Because we'll be hard on ourselves. As far as being a perfectionist. You'll be hard on yourself, and you'll, miss out on opportunities because you're so hard on yourself and your self-confidence to accomplish that opportunity. And, like I said, I had struggles myself. You want to do everything perfect, but sometimes you have to take that risk, and Quincy Jones took that risk with Michael. Michael is one of the greatest, or the greatest entertainers of all time, and, Quincy took that risk with Michael, and they created a whole new sound. And so I encourage, you artists and producers, if you're creating a team, take that risk, create a new sound, and that's what Michael and Quincy did. And it was an impact on the whole world. People still sampling songs from Thriller. People still sampling songs from the Bad album, and they did sample Liberian Girl, JD sampled that. And so, it's a lot. It's a lot to do that. Be prepared. For those opportunities and take risks. And so, they're on the, on the rules of success. They're on the one number 6, master your craft. So let's get to that.
Hit of the 1980s. So I know Quincy Jones, the famous guy, the hit maker, the pop wizard.
And let me know still what, others, what's your favorite song on Off the Wall? If you're still in here, appreciate y'all for watching.
The R&B soul guy. You were a serious jazz guy through the 50s.
Yeah,
I mean, you're on tour with Lionel Hampton.
No, understand, man.
Yeah.
From day one,
Quincy had to get him straight. He was like, he not just a jazz guy.
knew how to play every kind of music. Sousa, Debussy, Schottisches, bar mitzvahs, rhythm and blues, everything. We played.
And if you was in music history, I remember Debussy music. I love Debussy music. I believe he was in the classical era of music. He said Debussy. And so if you took music history or music literature, let me know if you know Debussy.
Did everything, man. I got a lot of. This is when I started doing Michael Jackson. I didn't have to learn anything to do Michael. I mean, I've been doing that all my life.
That's my question, though. Does the guy who toured with Count Basie or did arrangements for Count Basie and Gene Krupa, Sarah Vaughan,
Everybody.
that's the same guy who can produce hip hop or pop music?
Well, but we were doing it all our life. It's the same. Nadi Boulanger said, Quincy, God gave us 12 notes. The Bach, Brahms, Beethoven, Bo Diddley, Basie, Bird, all use the same 12 notes until he gives us 13. I want you to know what everybody did with 12. And I studied hard for 28 years, man. And there's not, for 7 decades, we never stopped,
We'd try to play like Miles, try to play like Charlie Parker, like That's in the.
Yeah, so yeah, Claude Debussy. He the guy asked him, was it a risk, working with Michael because you never did that type of music? And he said he studied all types of music, like I mentioned earlier, he went to France, he went all over the world to study music composition, all types of music. And so, I noticed a lot of, legends, musical legends, they study all types of music. We look at Michael Jackson as a dancer, entertainer. He studied all types of dance, all types of choreography, a lot. He took a lot of stuff from overseas, even the moonwalk. He didn't create the moonwalk. He learned that from somebody else. And that's the thing about, being, get on the floor. Yeah. Get on the floor was, I love the 4 on the floor on that one. Just straight disco, get on the floor. I love the melody on that one, and I love the way Michael really, he really got into that song. Get on the floor. That's a great song. And I love Off the Wall, the self-titled song as well.
And when you come out of that, there's 10 different people, and your personality is going to finally not transcend that, but morph into its own personality, because it is a person.
So he's saying on this point, model the masters, model the greats, a lot of great philosophers, a lot of great motivators, they often say that, if you want to be good, follow those who are great, follow those who are great. Okay, impressionist period. Okay. I thought it was classical at first. I knew it a little bit after or before classical, but I knew it was close to that. Appreciate you.
Out there, and if you have traveled the roads of all the great people, but I think that happens with anything.
So y'all let me know what's your favorite song off of Thriller album. Let me know y'all favorite song off of Thriller album. I know this is a more tough one, but let me know your favorite song off of the Thriller album. I think my favorite song off of Thriller album is Human Nature, and I got to do two, but Human Nature and I think people underestimate Baby Be Mine. I love the chords on there. Something about those chords on Baby Be Mine, and I just love Michael's vocals on Baby Be Mine. You know, he really he was real smooth on the vocals, but when it got to the climax of the song, you know, he really, his vocal expression on that song was very good. And so, yeah, Baby Be Mine and Human Nature are my favorite songs off of Thriller. So appreciate y'all for watching.
It was a cameraman, you know, you look at Serraro, whatever, you know, all your favorite people, and just deal with just the best, or like classical composers or whatever, or people that deal with drama, you know, with the elements of drama. They'll say, all do it a different way, and jump into it, jump all over it. I'm serious, you know, just don't be bashful, jump into it.
And that's true about music. You know, you never know who likes your music. You know, everybody has their own taste in music. You know, I've learned that myself. You know, some people like nostalgic music, you know, music that sounds from the past. Some people like hip hop, some people like trap. You know, everybody has their own taste, but once you put your music out there, you'll see who likes your music. You'll see who appreciates your music. You know, I put out music in the past that I wrote and produced. And it's crazy how you never know who likes your music. Like I had a song called Jumpstart on one of my albums, songs about her. And the song is kind of pop, but hip hop. And so I looked at ASCAP and I saw, you know, who was listening to my song and where I was getting royalties on that song Jumpstart. And it was in the Netherlands. You know, people in the Netherlands like that music because it's like a pop R&B type track. And so you never know who you're reaching. You know, you never know how your music reach people. You know, just because this certain demographic don't like your music doesn't mean another one doesn't. And so, yeah, it's crazy. Thriller, duh. I want to be starting something. Yeah. Want to be starting something is a great song too. It's crazy the part Mama Say, Mama Sa, Mama Kusa. People think he's really saying something on that part, but the background singer, they said he just made it up, you know. And Thriller is a great song as well. Thriller is a great song. Yep.
Try to copy it just like it is. I mean, you can't do this on a professional level. I mean, in training your mind, you know, to think on that level, the highest level, go with everybody from Johnny Williams to go.
And I want to hear some other people. Let me know your favorite songs on Thriller. Let me know your favorite song on Thriller. Amazing story about Thriller, the album. It was a song called Carousel on the album. And so they were trying to figure out if they wanted to keep that song on the album. And it was between Carousel or Human Nature. And good thing, Carousel was a great song. I heard Carousel before, but Human Nature was what I believe was the better song. I think they made the right choice, putting Human Nature instead of Carousel. And the name of the Thriller was going to be called Starlight. And so, you know, when people say Thriller, you know, they said Starlight at first. So that's amazing. A fact, you know, a fun fact about, you know, the album Thriller.
Old Smith, you know, to Alan Silvestri, you know, Stanley Clark, everybody. I have 7 kids. I have 6 daughters, 21 to 60. That's why I don't have any hair. And 1 son. But My part of the tough love is to tell them the first thing they have to know is know who you are, because a lot of people don't know who they are, and that's very difficult. But that's the first challenge, I think, is to know who you are. And if it's
And that's amazing. A lot of his points on this video, it's really talking about knowing your true self, knowing your art, knowing what you contribute to, this thing called music, or just in general, knowing what you contribute to life itself. It's amazing. Be true to yourself. It's a great fact.
70-30, work on it at 30%, stop whining and move on, And then now after you know who you are, love who you are. That's the first two steps, and that's what I mantra to my children. Because you're on your way once you know who you are and love who you are, you're on the way. Because if you don't love who you are, you're in trouble.
We're on the
Always be true to yourself, baby.
And if you coming in here, let me know your favorite song on Thriller. Let me know your favorite song on Thriller. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is a special show, remembering Quincy Jones. Remember Quincy Jones passed away at 91. He passed away at his house, around his family. And I believe he passed away a peacefully. May he rest in peace. But I thought I'd do this special show because he really inspired me, even though I never got to meet him, Quincy Jones. But, his music really touched a lot of people, a lot of music creators as well.
The entire business is all based on two things: a great song and a great story. Film and television, great. If you don't have that story, nothing else matters. You don't call anybody else to direct anybody. The same with a song. Great song can make the worst singer in the world a star. But a bad song, the three best singers in the world cannot save it. And that's the best.
And that happened a lot in music. I remember the story. Daryl Simmons was talking about working with Babyface. And Babyface said, Daryl Simmons said, Bobby Brown want the best singer. Bobby Brown want the best singer, but he had great songs. He had "Don't Be Cruel," "Every Little Step." Those songs were great songs. "My Prerogative." Bobby wasn't the best singer, but he had great songs, and he's right about that. Quincy is right about that. You can have a good song and a okay singer, and it can be a hit. I've seen that a lot. A lot of artists like that. Rihanna. Rihanna is not the best singer, but she has great songs. She has great songs. I hate to, it's just my opinion. But Rihanna is one of my favorite artists. But she has had great music, great songs, and that that makes her a great artist. And so he's right about that. He's right about that.
That's the bottom line, man.
If you are not working as a musician until the later years of your life,
it doesn't matter, man. It's 60 you can start, man. Nadi Boulanger told me that. She said you can become an attorney at 60 years old, man. You can do whatever you feel like doing if you're willing to put.
Yeah, start. You can start anytime. Start at any age if you're inspired to do music. I've told the story a lot of times on this channel. When I was 29, I said, when I turned 30, I stopped doing music. If it doesn't work out, but a good thing I kept going because I've had a little success in music so far after 30 years old. And so, you start anytime. You think about KFC, you think about Chick-fil-A. They started those businesses, way after their 30s. They was about 60 years old, you know, when they started these businesses. So yeah, start anytime, you know, because when you get older, you know, you become more wiser, you become more aware of things. You know, not saying young people don't know anything or not wise, but you know, you have more wisdom when you get older, you know, thinking about certain things in life. You know, like I said, Sanders, you know, KFC, you know, he was, you know, he was almost in his 70s when he started KFC. So it's never too late. You know, you look at Warren Buffett, and you even look at Quincy. They said that he was around 40 years old when he produced Thriller, and so it's never too late. It's never too late. Yeah, it's never too late.
The mindset behind it, the passion, and the work. Anything, anytime in life. 70 years old. I mean, I feel like I'm just starting, man.
So we're gonna move on to Bad. You know, let me know what's your favorite song off of Bad. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna go to another video. We're gonna go to the night where Michael won Grammy for Thriller, the Thriller album.
Pick up Redwood.
So he got a little commercial going. Again, appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for watching.
And the winner is Michael Jackson.
Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. You know, that night was a special night. You know, Thriller album won so many Grammys that night. I think if I'm not mistaken, he won. I think he won like 9 Grammys that night, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all let me know. I think Thriller won like 9. I think they won 9 Grammys that night, if I'm not mistaken. There go Webster. Again, y'all let me know. Even Thriller. I didn't get a lot of responses on Thriller, but let me know your favorite song on Thriller. Let me know up here. I had got one. My mom said Thriller and Want to Be Starting Something. So y'all, some other people, let me know your favorite song on Thriller. Let me know your favorite song on Thriller. A lot of people that know Michael, yeah, he had an armful. Yeah, he did. And a lot of people said when they meet Michael, his voice is not that high. That was just a thing he did for the public. Like, his voice was actually deep. You know, if he was around him, and they said, you know, Michael was actually tall. He was like 6 foot something, and he do look like he's tall. But y'all let me know. Let me know if you know how tall Michael Jackson was. And I heard he was like 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2", or something like that. Y'all let me know.
Thank you. When something like this happens, you want those who are very dear to you up here with you. I'd like to ask for my sister, Latoya and Janet, please come up.
Yeah, they said his voice won't that high when they meet him. I did hear audio clips of him, like his voice, especially when he got older, his voice got a little deeper. But I heard his voice was, you know, it was still kind of low back then, but he used his voice. Oh, eight Grammys. I knew I was close.
My sister Janet as well. Come on.
Hey, wait a minute. They said that they said that Michael and Janet was the same person.
First of all,
but it's crazy though, when Michael and Janet really got to their careers, they was competitive. They were very competitive because when Janet did Rhythm Nation album, Michael was inspired by that album to create the Dangerous album with Teddy Riley, and so yeah, they was very competitive. But they respected each other. As far as their artistry is concerned, of course they learn from each other. But I think especially Janet learned from Michael. Especially. And so, yeah, y'all let me know. Let me see some more comments. Y'all let me know y'all favorite song on the albums, Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. Let me know.
well, I like to thank God, who's first. Reby, I'd like to have you up here too.
He get all his
Also,
sisters
I'd like
up
to thank
there.
my mother and father, who's were with us all the way. I mean, my mother's.
Shout out to Dennis Latimer. He said Billie Jean. Yeah, Billie Jean. Story about Billie Jean. That's a crazy story because Michael talked about when he wrote Billie Jean. He was in the car and he said he wanted a song with a huge bass line. He thought about that bass line. Do 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 do. He thought of that bass line, and then he like do 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 do. He thought about all that stuff. When he was riding in the car. I thought that was an amazing story, and a lot of people don't give Michael credit. Being a songwriter. He was an amazing songwriter.
Very shy. She's like me. She won't come up.
And shout out to Darian. He got that Tevin Campbell song. Yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow is an amazing song. I would play it up here, but of copyright reasons, I really didn't want to play no music up here because, copyright. But yeah. Tomorrow, Quincy, Back on the Block album. If y'all haven't heard that song, look it up. Tomorrow, by Quincy Jones. So I'm gonna go to another quick clip. I'm gonna go to this one. I thought this was a great clip as well. Quincy, and I mentioned this earlier. Quincy was, a lot of people question Quincy because he wasn't hands on Michael's albums. People question if he was really a producer, which doesn't make sense because he got all these people together to work on Michael's albums. And so again, y'all let me know what's y'all favorite songs off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. Let me know. I think my favorite song off of Bad, it's a lot of great songs on that album. I love Man in the Mirror. I love The Way You Make Me Feel. I love the swing groove on The Way You Make Me Feel. It's just hard, because those three albums, they had a lot of great songs. And my favorite song off the Wall, I didn't mention that, was Rock With You. I like Off the Wall too. I love Off the Wall.
So we know a lot about Michael Jackson, and you were just talking about him. What on those albums, Thriller for example, is you? You know, you have his music, some of his writing,
No, I
some
know,
of
man,
his
but look,
influence.
we take his stuff and take it to another level.
That's what I hate about these reporters. You know, they always questioning the wrong thing. You know, if people, you know, people give credit to Quincy, give credit to Quincy for producing, you know, that producing these albums. You know, people always, no matter how great you are, you know, it's always criticism. You know, Quincy was a huge part of, you know, those albums. Even though he probably didn't play the piano on one song, even though he didn't play the guitar, you know, he couldn't do it himself. It always takes a team to create a great album. You know, Thriller, you know, Quincy didn't do Thriller on by himself. He couldn't do Thriller by himself. You know, he grabbed this great guitarist over here. You know, he grabbed this great piano player, Greg Gaines. You know, he grabbed this great songwriter, Rod Temperton. You know, he grabbed this great songwriter from Toto, Steve Porcaro, Human Nature. You know, he had to grab all these people to create a great album. You know, that's what made Quincy, because he knew how to take this talent from here. You know, even going into TV, you know, he grabbed Will Smith. He saw the talent in, you know, Will Smith. You know, yeah, he was a very good arranger. Yeah. And Darian, if you want to hop on, you can hop on. I sent the link in the group, the YouTube group chat. So if you want to hop on, you know, feel free. But yeah, you know, people always criticize you, you know, even when you're great. and that's the crazy thing about life. You know, you can be the greatest ever, and it's always somebody who's going to criticize, you know, your greatness. You know, they're going to talk about your greatness, but you just got to walk in your own path like Quincy did. You know, he knew he was good. You know, he had the confidence. He knew he was good. And that's how he just, you know, he just kept his head down, creating, composing music, writing music for so many artists, from Frank Sinatra, Ray Charles, like they said, Sarah Vaughan. Sarah Vaughan was a amazing jazz vocalist. If y'all don't know who Sarah Vaughan is, just so many artists. You know, Tamia, I believe Tamia is very underrated. You Put a Move on My Heart was an amazing song. And so, yeah.
Stop till you get enough. It's very well known that Michael sent me a note. Could you please take off the violins in the introduction? No, it's messed up my groove. You know what that line was? Diddle 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 diddle. The identifying line on the goddamn.
And that's, you know, that's the main part of Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. And crazy enough, Michael wanted to take it off. Michael wanted to take that part off of Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. That's crazy.
I'm sorry.
So he said, take it off?
Yeah.
And you said?
No way. You don't tell me what to do.
Who was right?
Well, what ended up on the record? That's one of the strongest parts of the introduction. Diddle 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 would have been right.
Again, appreciate y'all for watching. Slow Jammer. Yeah. But yeah, appreciate y'all for watching. Yeah, don't stop till you get enough. Get Enough is a great song. But it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same without that part on the song. It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
Ben Wright wrote that. This was a Motown arranger.
So again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I just thought I'd do this special show, you know, to remember Quincy Jones. You know, just a great success. You know, a lot of y'all know Secret Garden with El DeBarge, Barry White, so many great artists on that song as well. He did a lot for James Ingram. You know, a lot. Just Once, like my dad mentioned earlier. Just Once was a great song. Yeah, so many great songs, you know, from, you know, Quincy Jones' life. You know, he lived to be 91 years old. That's amazing. Amazing career. Amazing career. Again, appreciate y'all for watching. Let me know, you know, your favorite song off of, you know, Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad. Let me know if you're still in here. What's your favorite song off of those albums? I would be messy, you know. I'm not coming up. It's all good. It's all good. You might be busy. Yeah. Love the Sanford and Son theme. Yeah, that's classic right there. That's classic. Classic Quincy Jones. Classic Quincy Jones. Yeah. Classic Quincy Jones. I love In the Heat of the Night. Love In the Heat of the Night song as well. That was a great theme song. Just so many great songs. Again, let me know what's your favorite song off of you know, those 3 albums, Off the Wall, Bad, or Thriller. Appreciate y'all for watching. Yes, a lot of things, you know, throughout Quincy's career. You know, he had a lot of obstacles. You know, he had an aneurysm. They say he had like 2 aneurysms, you know, throughout his life. But, you know, he made it to 91. You know, that's a great, yeah, the harmonies off of Off the Wall is unmatched. Yeah. And shout out to also Stevie Wonder. You know, a lot of people don't know Stevie Wonder and Michael are cousins. You know, they're cousins in real life. You know, a lot of people don't know that. And I'm gonna go to another clip. Before I get off. He talking about We Are the World. I think this was a great clip as well. So I'm gonna get into this clip as well, if I can get to it.
How did We Are the World come about?
I get a call from Ken Cragen, the manager for Lionel Richie and Kenny Rogers in New York. And I know they called me because I'd done down the summer, I did a song called State of Independence. And it had 16 bars for chorus in there. And I said, I want to.
And it's amazing how he got all those artists together for We Are the World. That was amazing how he got all those people together for that particular song, We Are the World. Let me know if you've heard the whole We Are the World. A lot of people haven't even heard that, you know, the full song. But We Are the World was an amazing song, which was composed by Michael, Lionel Richie. They both wrote and produced that song with Quincy Jones. So, yeah, and a lot of people don't give Michael credit for songwriting. A lot of people don't.
Best voices I know. We had 1/3 of We Are the World sing on that thing. I had Billy, Stevie, Michael, Lionel, all of them. Even Chris Cross was on there. James Ingram, Brenda Russell. And that's why they called me, because I was the only one crazy enough to go in there with all those stars. You know, and I had worked with 60% of the people in We Are the World. That's scary when you see all these people.
And this crazy story about Prince, because y'all know Prince and Michael, they had like Prince and Michael had like a feud, you know. They had a feud during that time. I believe it was after the American Music Awards. You know, they had a feud. You know, Prince. They tried to get Prince on Bad, the song Bad. And when they talked to him about the song Bad, when they said Your Butt Is Mine, Prince said, no, I'm not getting on this song. I'm not getting on this. And so, you know, he ended up not getting on the song. But before then, they had a lot of beef. You know, it was competition. So, yeah.
Studio, man. Scary, man.
Is it true that at the recording session you put up a sign on the door? This is not true.
No, I put it in the letter. But it was not necessary, man. When you do something like that, you don't know it's going to work, man, and be that big.
And if you're in here, if you want to send a super chat, you know what you learned from Quincy Jones' career, that you take with you as far as a musician, a songwriter, producer. If you want to send a super chat, you know, let me know. Or if you just want to leave a comment, you know, what's some things that you learned from, you know, the life of Quincy Jones. You know, appreciate y'all for watching.
Started up, we had Lionel and Kenny Rogers, Dan Aykroyd, and LaToya. You know, that doesn't sound like a smash, does it? I mean, it's a good start.
I should point out that what I was going to say is that the urban myth, I guess, is that it said, leave your ego at the door.
They blew that all out of proportion. Those people came there to try to do something good for Ethiopia like they always do. They always do. You know, you do the best you can. You don't know what's going to happen. They had a million records like that.
Yeah, his work ethic was crazy. You know, a lot of things in Quincy Jones' life. And shout out to Bennett Yancey. He's a great one of my good subscribers up here. Always giving great comments on my channel. Shout out to Bennett Yancey. Shout out to him. Yeah, his work ethic. You know, he sacrificed a lot in his life. A lot of things, and it's kind of parallel to David Foster's career as well. You know, they missed out on a lot of stuff in their personal life because, you know, especially around the time Quincy worked on Thriller album, you know, especially when he was on the Thriller album, you know, he missed out on a lot of stuff, you know, in his children's life. You know, Quincy had 7 children. You know, he had 7 children by 3 wives. You know, altogether 7 children, you know, out of those 3 wives. But he had a long life. And appreciate you, Bennett Yancey. I'm glad you enjoy my content. Appreciate you for coming in tonight. But yeah, send me a chat. Let me know, you know, what you learned from Quincy Jones. You know, what thing from, you know, what inspired you, you know, what inspires you, you know, from the life of Quincy Jones. You know, he's inspired me to give you all into music. You know, don't have no limits. Don't have no limits on your music. You know, just go all in. If it takes you, you know, if it takes you a month to work on one song, you know, just dive in and make it the best song possible. You know, his legacy taught me that, you know, start today. You know, I was thinking, you know, I have to give my all on music. Just don't put, you know, don't just put things together. You know, don't just put songs together, but just think of, you know, what you can do, you know, to impact your listeners. You know, what storyline, you know, in your song can impact, you know, the future. You know, what song can stand the test of time. And that's what Quincy did with his music. You know, even from his TV songs, you know, and it's great that he collaborated. You know, he did a lot of collaboration throughout his music career. You know, Quincy Jones, he had an original song for the Fresh Prince, but I know y'all probably heard the story, but Will Smith, he came up with a rap because he was like, oh, this song for Fresh Prince, it don't really, you know, represents the show. And Will Smith, you know, he wrote a rap for the Fresh Prince, and then he gave it to Quincy, and Quincy loved it. And that's the song that we hear today, you know, for Fresh Prince. And, you know, Quincy Jones is all about collaboration. You know, he didn't do everything himself, but that's what made him great. He knew who to collaborate with to make a awesome product, an awesome song, an awesome TV show. And so, you know, that's his legacy.
Nelson did a great one for Farm Aid and stuff like that. But Belafonte had called Lionel and Ken and said, Live Aid and Europe has done it. You guys are doing nothing over here, you know. And,
Yeah. So yeah, that was a clip from him talking about We Are the World. You know, he was talking about We Are the World. And again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, let me know your favorite song from Quincy's. Just, you know, Quincy Jones' whole catalog. What's your favorite songs? Earlier, I was talking about what's your favorite songs from Michael's catalog that Quincy Jones produced. Got a few responses, but yeah, we remembering Quincy Jones passed away yesterday. You know, a lot of people, it really hit a lot of people. You know, it hit me this morning, waking up seeing that news, because you know how much he truly inspired so many producers, so many songwriters, so many composers, so many arrangers from his life. You know, doing TV shows, doing movies like The Wiz, you know, Fresh Prince, you know, so many great shows. In the Heat of the Night, I didn't know he did that song. I remember when I was young, I used to sing that song. My grandma, she used to watch In the Heat of the Night, and what an incredible song that was. You know, I remember that when I was young, listening to The Heat of the Night, Sanford and Son, like I said, when I was young, just hearing that guitar and that bass in that song really moved me, you know, really moved me. And so, yeah, so many albums he did himself, you know, the dude, Back on the Block. And I love the way that album really infused hip hop as well. You know, that was during a time when hip hop was really prevalent, you know, really on the rise. You know, Back on the Block. Just when he worked with Tamia, you know, You Put a Move on My Heart was an incredible song. And y'all let me know some other songs that I might have forgot by Quincy Jones. George Benson, Give Me the Night. Pat Austin, you know, so many great songs for her as well. Yeah. In the Heat of the Night, yeah. Was one of my favorite TV theme shows. Yeah, that was a great one right there. That was a great one. Yep. And so again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. But I thought I'd do this show. Hope y'all theme songs. Yep. Yeah, but appreciate y'all for watching. Again, I want to see who what's your favorite songs produced by Quincy Jones, whether it be movies or albums. You know, I wish he was smart though. He knew who to give Michael to as far as production, you know. Shout out to Marcus. But anyways, it's a lot of great, a lot of great things Quincy Jones did. That kind of got me off track. But anyways, it's a lot of great tracks, Quincy Jones did, throughout his life. And like I said, it inspired me. I know it inspires y'all, you out there, musicians, artists. And also let me know if you're a musician, artist, producer, songwriter, let me know you in the building. I greatly appreciate that. We have to start, collaborating. Collaboration is the key to greatness. Collaboration is a great thing. Collaboration is a great thing. And, I think we've lost that. Everybody doing their own thing as far as music is concerned. But when you get the great people in one room, you really let God in. When that happens, you really let God in. So I appreciate y'all for watching. I'm about to get off, but I thought I'd do this special show, to remember Quincy Jones. And so appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And until next time, peace.